The patrons are huddled up under cover. Fraser Gehrig, as ever, out of the field of play as the game is in motion. And while there's no old mud heap as there used to be on days like this in the heart of the MCG, the ball doesn't come out from the first bounce. Hayden Kennedy tossing the ball up, umpiring with Matthew Nichols and Craig Henry. And Stephen Milne, I wonder if that's his first hit out of the season at a centre bounce. Bolton sends Essendon forward and finds Lucas. And the Dons are a chance. That is a thumping kick. And it was too long for their full forward, and it is Mark Johnson, Alistair Lynch.
Very impressive start. Mark Johnson has started down there. He will be a target. He can take an overhead mark, but I think the main thing in these conditions, his forward 50 pressure is going to be a key.
Clark towards Maguire. Can't handle it. And congested piece of play. The umpire's called a free kick against Lee. So the free kick to St Kilda. McPhee with the job on Nick Revolt, as suspected, so a big challenge there.
And the umpire set the standard. Hayden Kennedy there is very hot on that holding ball decision.
So Fisher, Sam Fisher, high towards half forward, going back, that's a good mark, taken by Ricks, who has really been a player for St Kilda. Could he be the answer to their ruck woes? Long inside attacking, 50 at the back, well done by Welsh, got the double fister in there. Del Santo keeping his feet but couldn't find the ball. Peverill, Dyson, handballs it clear. Chance for Heffernan. Now thrust forward, but eventually the Bombers were able to clear it towards half forward. Well done, Bolton. Good little handball. Jason Johnson just couldn't find it, but eventually did. Love it. Look out as Harvey comes in from the side, managed to get an effective kick away, and getting back Sam Fisher. And with plenty of time, can go short, and does, finds Xavier Clark.
The game pretty much hovering between the 50s in the first couple of minutes. An old mongrel, but an effective one, and Ricks has got it again. Made his debut in conditions like this against Sydney. Andrew Thompson, the late inclusion for Stephen Baker for Sydney. Welsh a good mark, and there's a casualty for the Saints. It's the ever-courageous Brett Voss, whose head does take pretty much of a hammering. McVeigh now for the Dons, steering it to Bolton. He cops a lot. An old teammate of yours, Alistair.
And he's much like his brother, goes back in those contests very hard week in, week out, and he's in his 151st game, I think it is. He's a bit sore and still on the ground.
Looks like it, well, it looked as though they were examining his knee. As we watch it again.
Friendly fire, as they say. His teammate Nick Revolt with the arm across the mush. I'm sure he'll recover. He usually does.
Boundary throw in half forward for the Dons, and Ricks just kicks it along the ground. And we'll get a boundary throw in on the southern wing.
Now the Essendon forwards have set up outside their forward 50, and what they're trying to do here is get the long kick into space so the likes of Johnson and co can run back onto it.
Steady rain. Ricks doing battle with the Bomber captain David Hill. Del Santo well tackled, and it's a Bomber free kick.
It's for the incorrect disposal.
And Camporelli will receive it. So there it is. And good umpiring and good tackle from Scott Camporelli. In his first season with the Bombers. On centre wing. Takes plenty of time. Kicks to a central location at half forward. Chance at ground level for the Bombers. Solomon, good handball. Well done by Watson. Kicks it out wide, but Rebo getting back. And was marked in the defensive 50 for the Saints.
That's good work. Nick Revolt, he's so dangerous up forward, but because of his aerobic capacity, he pushes back across half-back to really drive out of half-back for the Saints. Great work.
Graham pumping it to midfield for the Saints. Essendon competitive in the contest for the ball early, and it's just going to be contest for the ball all day. Heffernan controlled it well, but ball smothered him equally well. Montagna, and that's dangerous for Milne. He was gone before he'd taken possession of the ball. And the Dons are a chance now. Jason Johnson. And that's a good kick. Lucas from the centre. Too far even for him. Love it. Good movement. Nash. Long ball. Mark Johnson trying to mark it. Was the Shepherd on, I wonder?
Maybe. It's probably just a lack of communication for two Essendon players going for the ball, but you'd rather have two players running into each other than not going for it at all.
Now, there's an Essendon free kick here. Goddard took the mark, but it's against Hudson and Scott Lucas, who's been busy early. Too far out to score. Driving kick towards the top of the goal square. Mark Johnson, ball carries. Chance for Lovett. Can he snap it? Goal? No, just misses as he tried to hack it out of mid-air. So it's been all Essendon in the early stages. 3 behind St Kilda. And they got off to a slow start last week, St Kilda against Collingwood, conceding the first 3 goals. The Bombers haven't made them pay at this stage in the early part, but certainly controlling things.
But we can see where the ball's going to be played in the Essendon forward line. It's got to get it to the ground, and that's going to be the big question. Can Lucas and Johnson make the contest to get it to the small players on the ground, which will expose the St Kilda big bodies?
Del Santo to Harvey. Entries to the 55-2, St Kilda's way. Thompson with Lucas in close attendance. Essendon's way, those entries to the 50, not surprisingly.
And Kevin Sheedy and his match committee will be very happy with the application of the Essendon players at the start. They've gone at it very hard. They're passionate at the ball, and that's all you can ask from a group.
Ricks with Hill. Ricks has started well. Fisher smothered. Jason Johnson a chance. Camporelli knows how to use the ball. Again, Mark Johnson just not quite able to put himself in the contest. Lee Fisher touching it through, a 4th behind to the Dons.
Once again, Johnson was probably a little bit further back than he needed to be. He needs the ball to land on the ground, give him the opportunity to run onto it after the marking contest has been missed.
I reckon he's been unlucky too there, Alistair. He looked to have his jumper being held by Fisher, but no free kick as Hodgson from well inside defensive 50 to Goddard's been in sparkling form, particularly in the last 4 weeks. He kicks it long beyond the wing. Good contest from Lovett. In fact, he's being paid the mark, is he? Yes.
Initial call was play on, and then the umpire, I think, was basically sold on the idea that the mark had been taken. It was a good mark. Welsh to Peverill towards half forward. Sam Fisher going back. Well played. Just jams it on the boot. An old mongrel torpedo. Welsh almost. Now a chance at the back. McPhee. It's opposite to the line. Now that should be a throw in, and he is good, sensible umpiring. Here's the jumper hold I was talking about, and there it was, and perhaps a little unlucky Mark Johnson not to get that free kick within a few metres of goal. So a boundary thrown. St Kilda, a rare 4A forward. Hill, long towards the wing. Lee overruns it at the back. A chance for Maguire, who read it very well. Hudson, but they're under pressure, St Kilda. Essendon doing it pretty well at the moment. Clever little kick around the body, finds Clark in space. Bawani's left side, uses it towards Gehrig. Gehrig, great mark, no, not paid, couldn't hang on to it. Solomon, well done, off the ground by Jason Johnson. Gehrig again, ineffective. Heffernan, he gave it straight back to Gehrig. Now Andrew Thompson, great to see him back in the St Kilda side. High towards half forward, almost Welsh. Now Voss, can he spot up a target? He goes towards ball. Jason Johnson with him, now Nash. And again, the Bombers out of trouble as Stanton gives it to his captain, David Hill. Bombers full of desperation, doesn't have an immediate target. Hill has to go to a contest, and it's a bad contest for the Bombers. Maguire beat Bolton hands down. Result not great for the Saints there unless he finds the line. McVeigh, a left footer, is comfortable there. And Peverill, was he pushed? Yes, he was. Free kick. Rightly so. McVeigh keeps coming. Goes for Lovett, who started well. It was a wonderfully courageous 2-grab mark a little while ago.
It was a very good mark, and it was a good strong lead for him then. Just ran into space very well.
Now Reynolds just taking it casually and calmly on the one hand. It's not a bad result here. Watson sweeping it back to Reynolds. Can go for home. He is a left footer. He's done it beautifully. The Dons have the first.
And that is a very good goal. He knew he was getting pressure from the St Kilda defender from the front, and that composure to a check side kick, if you like, on his preferred left foot. Very nice bit of work.
And what joy for more mature-aged Essendon fans. Watson to Reynolds, goal. Now the Bombers doing it well. The lead general clearances, 4-1, back in the centre.
Chance here for Luke Ball. Well done. Shoveled it. Now, illegally, says the umpire to Del Sando. So, another effective clearance here for the Bombers.
The clearance has gone extremely well for the Bombers, and after that very classy goal, also in the congestion, when you get your hands on the ball, they've been able to do it well. Free kick on this instance, but the Bombers are getting their hands to it.
So Peverill out wide to accommodate McVeigh. In space on centre wing. Tries to find an option, delivers perfectly onto the chest of Lovett, who plays on long to the goal square. Mark Johnson getting back, chance for Reynolds again. He's got a loose player in the goal square. Lucas couldn't get it to him. He need to be careful here. Umpire calling play on and eventually calls for it, umpire Nichols. So a bounce 20 metres from the Bomber goal.
Joel Reynolds came up with a novel way of avoiding being pinged. He put his hand up as well.
That's worth trying.
Jason Johnson, the Dons have their second. They've jumped the Saints.
Another stoppage victory for the Bombers, and Jason Johnson, who is really pushing and making a presence in the early part of this quarter. Very good. Saw Reynolds in the last contest work very hard to the front of the ball, but that is what you need in these wet conditions. Hard bodies over the ball.
Classic case here of the underdogs coming out tuned in. Yep. The hot favourites, maybe a little off the boil.
Now the clearances in this match, Essendon 6, St Kilda 1, and that is where the dominance of the Bombers so far. They have come to play, maybe St Kilda not quite on.
Yes, lacking the appetite at the moment, St Kilda. Another opportunity at ground level. Fisher somehow gets it clear, but gives the ball up. Powell, Luke Ball, put his teammate under extreme pressure. Bombers still a chance. McVeigh's desperate in at the base of the pack and ties it up. So another bounce. What do you make of St Kilda's start?
Well, the minute you come to the ground expecting it just to happen or relying on one of your teammates to do the hard work for you, you will come unstuck no matter whether you're playing the bottom team in the competition.
Watson, McVeigh, here's another clearance for the Bombers. Welsh. And a couple of options. Nash and Jason Johnson takes the mark, chips it further afield. Lucas, well done, Hodgson. Spills to Goddard. Kick around the body, got to its intended target, Milne, who's away. Perhaps now for the Saints. Long towards Gehrig, who's one out with Solomon, too much strength. Oh, he wants to play on Gehrig, gets around Solomon, or does he? He does, runs to 30 and kicks St Kilda's first. So Gehrig gets the Saints on the board and took them on, and it was a great finish from the big man.
You've got to be very careful playing on Fraser Gehrig. You should know if he takes a mark on the lead, he's going to look to play on at all occasions, and you cannot get past the contest as Solomon did on that occasion.
Just couldn't go with the big Saint, Solomon. Badly needed goal.
And in this instance, Solomon just should have had a bit more experience to know that Gehrig wants to play on. He just allowed him to get around the man on the mark far too easy. And as Fraser Gehrig does week in, week out, he can kick those goals on the run.
He's kicked 6 of them this year, more than any other St Kilda player. Badly needed goal by St Kilda to kick-start them. Jason Johnson to Stanton. Johnson's been excellent in the midfield skirmish. Goddard just having a swing. Camporelli, Hill shepherding for Peverill. Oh, that's got to be a throw, surely. They let a lot go, but they've got to draw the line somewhere. Hill, Del Sando mown down by Watson. Hard contest, ball up, the only result. No, it comes out. Umpire letting it go. Watson and Clark. And a throw-in.
So, Tim, in your days as a umpire in the Tasmanian Southern League, wasn't it? You would have pulled that one up?
Well, I did the under-13s, actually, on some very cold winter mornings, Alistair, a long time ago.
And there's a change. Milne has come off for a spell. He's been pushing up the ground a fair way, but hasn't had the effect on the game as the St Kilda team would have liked.
Great stuff from Hill out of the ruck, and the Bombers win another clearance. Peverill inside attacking 50, Maguire getting back. He started this game as impressively as he has the last couple, been in wonderful form. Montagna back to Maguire, Decides just to drive it long, right down the centre of the MCG. Voss the target. Well done by Welsh. Little fumble from Camporelli. Lets Thompson in. Thompson trying to get it back to Voss. Now McVeigh off a step, hurriedly kicks towards half forward. At the back, Graham, who leads the competition. Oh, gee. Harvey is in real trouble here, and McPhee.
He's going to have a look at that. The umpire has pulled the book out.
I feel a bit sorry for McPhee. He felt he had to do something to try and spoil the mark. I don't think it was malicious.
I don't think it certainly wasn't deliberate to hit him in the head. It was to make a contest, and as can happen in that situation, you throw your arm back to try to make contact with the ball. But unfortunately, once you hit someone in the head, he's flushed him fairly hard there. Once you hit someone in the head, you are going to be in trouble.
Now, I can't really see why it's 50, because it happened right on the marking attempt. Was it a mark or not? If it was, the contact happened virtually simultaneously.
The old-fashioned coat hanger. Just got him with the inside of the forearm.
And he's coming from the ground, Robert Harvey, and some blood streaming from the mouth, it looks like. So hopefully the mouth guard was in, and there's not too much damage to the teeth.
So the end result of it is Voss will kick from point-blank range to kick St Kilda's second. He pops it through. Margin, 4 points.
Now the Bombers have got to be very careful here. They've worked hard to get a 4-point lead at this stage. They cannot concede quick goals in the second half of this first quarter. They've put too much hard work in place to let it slip. And McPhee is getting a lot of attention from the St Kilda players. Obviously not happy that one of their greats has been taken from the field with high contact.
You can argue, of course, that the onus is on the player in McPhee's position to be careful not to cause injury, but he no doubt felt he had to try and spoil Harvey's marking attempt. Unfortunately, the contact wasn't with the ball. Saints kept the ball alive here, and still Nash, Welsh. Well played by the Bomber defence. Tall start. Solomon to Camporelli, who's having a bit of it early. Bounce beating everybody. Maguire leading the race on Bolton and used the body well. Peckett off the interchange bench now. Ball well mown down by one of the first gamers. It was Lonigan, who was in the midst of all of that. He's not alone. There'll be a ball up.
And that was great work from the Essendon forwards. Where St Kilda have been very good in recent weeks is they've been able to rebound out of the defensive half, and it was stopped on that occasion. Good tackle, good chase. Just got to put the opposition under pressure.
So a bounce, in fact a throw up on the wing, and a St Kilda free kick, advantage paid. Now Sam Fisher stopped, so the ball will come back to Ackland. So after dominating the early part of the quarter, the Saints have kicked the last couple and just steady things at the moment as Peckett receives the kick from Ackland. Long inside attacking 50 at the back. Carey perhaps should have marked that. Well done Dyson. Nash well played to Stanton. Now McVeigh, and the Bombers out of defence. Target Lucas needs to mark it. He was outnumbered 2-1 and did strongly.
Needs to get up the mark quick and get the ball forward.
He does. Towards the pocket. At the back, Mark Johnson. Bolton off hands. Spills to Montaigne, who gives it to Powell. And the Saints, with their numbers back, are now enabled Goddard to kick across the ground to find Peckett in the back pocket. His chip kick is okay, and the mark's taken by Graham at half back.
Still the Dons lead, as they have done since the first score of the match. Sam Fisher bringing it to Ackland and back to Peckett, who's having his fair share since coming on. Lovely delivery. Revolt is 75 out. Southern half-forward flank.
The Bombers have got numbers back in the space in front of Garrick.
Garrick goes wide and he's got it.
That's a beautiful pass. There was a lot of players around Garrick and he was forced wide, but he got on the end of a nice pass.
And the ball's not dry. Garrick missing near side. So the Bombers still lead by 3 points. Quarter well advanced. Robert Harvey with a bit of stuffing in at least one of the nostrils. But, he'll be okay. Game number 332. Equal 12th on the all-time list drawing level with Simon Madden and Lee Matthews. A couple of pretty useful ones.
So Welsh,
Justin Madden, rather.
from half-back, McPhee the target. It's got to be 3 there, McPhee. And numbers went out. There's Thompson. Little hand-off to Revolt. Long towards full forward again. Oh, the Bombers muck it up there. Welsh. Chance for Montagna. Back to Powell. Off a step. Snaps from the pocket. It's pretty close, but just missing to the near side. So St Kilda in the last 5 minutes peppering away, and the margin back to 2 points.
They're very strong at the long ball. They like to go long, Essendon, but got to be very careful against the big bodies of St Kilda. They don't go long to a contest. Get it long into the forward line, but let it bounce through and let your forwards run onto it.
Dyson pumping it long, and territory's important today, and Bolton finds some more for them, but no one to receive it as Sam Fisher led Reynolds to it. Kick not great. Lovett breaking away. Clever delivery, not quite taken. Reynolds, Camporelli, terrific smother, Sam Fisher. Lonigan has a go. Reynolds again. Lonigan again. Peveril now, but there's a free kick. Essendon's way.
Very handy, didn't opportunity to have a shot on goal, but Lovett has been dangerous in the first quarter. Has had the 7 possessions, 4 marks, and is a valuable option across half forward. This is a handy shot on goal, just in the back there. Looked like Graham.
Well, his back was well sat upon. Free kick was there. The question is, can he finish? His set shot record not good this year. 3 goals, 7. Has one already. Has it got the carry? Just! It's there! The Dons stretch the lead.
And to be fair to the Essendon forwards, they're not going to take too many contested marks or even marks on the lead today to kick their goals. They're going to have to scrap hard. There's going to be a lot of congestion in their forward line. And these sort of situations are the ones they've got to capitalise on.
Good quarter for Joel Reynolds. 2 goals, valuable contribution on a day like this.
Kevin Sheedy would be very happy with the way his side's performed in this opening quarter. Perhaps a little wasteful. Maybe that could be a little bit further in front. From the bounce, or throw up. Well done, Jason Johnson. Stanton, well done, under pressure, so just sockets it forward. Hudson and Lucas. Lucas perhaps the better of that duel in the early stages. Peveril, back to Lucas. Well tackled, ball. Be tackled high. Will be penalised, no. 50-50, so we'll get a ball up 60 from the Bomber goal. You see the Bombers controlling the disposals.
They certainly have had a lot of the ball, a lot of congestion around this contest.
Held decisively. Little toe poke forward was okay. Mark Johnson towards Lovett. Lovett dangerous in this situation. Brings it back towards the top of the goal square. Reynolds underneath it. Mark strongly, does he? No, play on's the call. Mark Johnson almost an opportunity, but Graham mops it up for the Saints and gets some penetration with his kick. Chance for Lonigan. Did it cleverly. In fact, it was Dyson. Kick towards half forward. Chance for Jason Johnson. Tucked up hard against the line. Dyson, Cooley. Got it to Heffernan. Off to Nash. The Bombers a chance, but that was great pressure from Voss and also Luke Ball. Lonigan beautifully done to Dyson. Dyson from just outside and just inside 50 towards the goal square. Well done by Lee Fisher. Enough pressure on Mark Johnson to see the ball over the line for a behind.
Mark Johnson again feeling that the tactics employed on him were less than legal.
It's one of those positions. You can be wrestling up there and you think you might be a chance for a free kick, but often it will go against you.
And he's not as big and inevitably not quite as strong as some who have gone before him. Here go the Saints. Gehrig hanging back this time, and the spill of the ball almost favoured him, but Hill gives to Welsh, and the Dons are away. Lovett's got the southern side to himself for a little while. They're coming at him now. McVeigh, Essendon rebounding well. Stanton is there, almost took it. Lee Fisher made the spoil. Graham and Sam Fisher there too. But Essendon's forward half working hard. Goddard blazing, could go anywhere. It worked out well. Ackland to ball. Nice vision, nice execution. And the Saints can build here. McWalter. Clever kick. Beautiful delivery. Revolt a long way out with the slippery ball. Goes for Gehrig. He's got Solomon struggling. Solomon just did enough. Gehrig hemmed in. Impossible angle. Oh, it was close. Still the Dons lead by 8 points, and the big fella is hobbling.
He's hobbling. He had his opponent Solomon in very good position there. He was always going to be a big chance to take the mark. Just with a slippery ball, couldn't lock the hands onto it, but he's moving into some good form and re-rolled up the field. Looks dangerous.
So Watson now at half-back for the Bombers, taking plenty of time to assess towards Lucas. Hodgson over the top, didn't give away the free kick. McWalter. Now Ackland, he's got a loose player in the centre of the ground. The kick, though, a little wide, but Montagna will still get there first. Has Mark Johnson to contend with and does it pretty well. Kick's effective. Mark taken by Del Santo, just forward of the wing. What a wonderful player he has been for St Kilda. Third in last year's Brownlow medal. He kicks out wide. Voss in front of Welsh. Too far out to score. Chips it into the pocket. Goddard's made position, but he's going to be under real pressure here. Paul gets to Lovett, who picks it up superbly. Tackled by Gehrig, flung by Gehrig, and a rush behind conceded.
No, it hasn't gone through.
No, it's gone through. The goal umpire's indicated a behind.
And the Essendon player did look up. He thought it was over, but the umpire signalled play on, and there you go, a bit of a tackle over the line on Milne.
But a rush behind is awarded to the Saints.
Hayden Kennedy was waving play on. It was a curious one. The ball just seemed to wobble on the line. Fraser Gehrig with other things on his mind from that incident a minute or so earlier.
Just seemed to pull up out of that kick, whether it's a groin. We know he's had some groin problems, or maybe even a quad on that left leg.
Adam McPhee, the target of hostility from St Kilda fans after that incident with Robert Harvey. Camporelli having a good first quarter. Peverill had time to atone for a bad fumble. Lee Fisher. Well played, Mark Johnson, to get a hand in and hold up two of them. Couldn't hold them up forever. Graham, clever kick. Lovett, been outstanding. Brilliant first quarter. Welsh, and the Bombers could hurt on the rebound again. Oh, what a beautiful mark by Maguire.
That is a very good mark, but that is exactly what Essendon cannot do. They cannot go long to a contest with the St Kilda defenders. They are too big and too powerful in the air.
Milne just might have David Hill struggling at ground level. Hill did well.
Well done by David Hill. Milne would have been licking his lips at the prospect of getting around the Bomber captain, but Hill forced him over the line. Great stuff. Ackland. Ball, now Milne gets his opportunity. Hoists it high inside, attacking 50 at the back. Revolt, fist from McPhee. Chance for Gehrig, couldn't control it. Well done, Solomon. McPhee coolly kicks out wide and spots the Bradley target.
They've been good rebounding out of defence, the Bombers, in these sort of conditions to find their targets. Very effective.
Bradley finds another target, Stanton.
And I think up until now they've been the least effective by foot in the competition for the season, so they've found their targets today.
Towards half-forward, Lovett. Blistering in this opening quarter. Dyson to the Bacon goal square. Will it bounce through? Chance for Lucas. Needs to try and keep it in. Hodgson. Very good tackle. And Fisher now a chance to mop up as we close down towards quarter time. Dubious looking handball. Ackland slips over. Chance for Watson. Deep in the pocket. Snaps superbly. What a goal! 10 seconds left on the clock, and Joe Watson kicks an absolute superb goal to give the Bombers a 13-point advantage going into quarter time.
Very good touch from Watson on his non-preferred left foot, just to sneak that one around the corner. That's his 7th possession for the quarter, and they've found a way. They've prepared to play one-on-one football right across the field. They haven't allowed Goddard, Del Santo and Ball to get back loose, and they've been very good in the one-on-one contests.
First time the Dons have kicked 4 goals in the opening quarter of a match since round 6. Kicked 5 against Richmond back then, and this has been a very impressive start. And the Dons will go to quarter time with a 13-point lead and optimism in their hearts. That was a surprise, and it was impressively achieved.
And with young players, that's what you want. You want to have the doubt out of their mind early, coming up against quality opposition, and they'll go into this huddle very content that they're in this game and will give it a good shake in the second term.
The underdogs have jumped the hot favourites. It's Essendon by 13 at the first change.
Grant Thomas says you won't be going back to St Kilda.
Grant Thomas might not be there.
He's made a complete ass of himself.
Is Hawthorn a top 4 side?
Not this year, I wouldn't have thought.
They didn't try as hard as the opposition.
Benson's 26, he's playing like he's 32.
7:30, White Line Fever. 8:30 on the couch, live and exclusive Monday.
If that's not going to give you motivation, nothing will.
Your wife called.
Oh. She seems nice.
Fun meets functionality with a new Motorola Razr V3X.
Hello, Moto.
I'd say come into Bunnings. We have the biggest range around. If you can't find it at Bunnings, you're going to be hard-pressed to find it anywhere else.
Synthetic coir and rubber mat, only $16.90. 45-litre laundry tub, $159. Alec garden stake with timer, $29.98. Redline plastic toolbox, just $9.48. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Why don't you come down and visit us?
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Thursday on Fox League Teams, join Footy's esteemed panel of all-stars for the latest team lineups and to-the-minute football analysis.
Take that out of the game. We're getting to garbage footy and we don't want it to come out in the public and do that. It reeks of arrogance.
Don't say Mark Harvey didn't instigate that.
Fox League Teams, live Thursday on Fox Footy Channel.
The mop-up as we close down towards quarter time. Dubious looking handball. Ackland slips over. Chance for Watson. Deep in the pocket. Snaps superbly. Oh, what a goal.
Two of the greatest names in the history of the Essendon Football Club, Reynolds and Watson, combining to produce 3 of their 4 first quarter goals. A free-scoring quarter, given the dirty conditions at the MCG, and that's a most impressive start, Alistair Lynch, by the underdogs.
A very impressive start. As we touched on in the first quarter, their ability to go one-on-one with the St Kilda players and not allow them to have the loose ball that they've had over recent weeks across half-back has been outstanding. Jason Johnston's been very good. Lovett and Lucas across half-forward have been great.
Saints with worries. They're still in their huddle at quarter time as Essendon break up, and they have more on their mind than just this game, because this morning Casey Scorpions playing Williamstown and Justin Kositsky has done it again. He's run straight into the umpire. He hasn't done a lot for the health of the poor old ump, but he hasn't done much for his own face either.
That's the first time we've seen this vision. That's extraordinary, really, to not have the awareness of where the umpire was going. I'm sure they've obviously tested his vision, but that goes back similar to the shepherd that he had the broken skull.
Didn't
have that peripheral vision to see what was coming. And that's a prime example. That's devastating news just for his confidence.
But you talk about peripheral vision. What about just vision full stop? Because you know the umpire's is going to back, and he just ran straight into him. Just straight into him.
It does seem puzzling that an experienced ruckman, he's obviously a very good AFL footballer, not to know that the umpire was going to come back in that direction.
Well, let's hope he's okay.
I'm not sure of the interpretation of these situations in VFL reserves competition. If that was an AFL match, he would be copping a very stiff fine.
Well, I think he's got enough on his plate. Let's not fine him over that.
So, second quarter underway here at the MCG, and another clearance to the Bombers. Ineffective, though, as Del Santo, in fact, he dropped the mark in the end. Milne hacks it off the ground. And a chance here for Lonergan. A couple of touches in his first game in the opening quarter. Delivers beautifully onto the chest of Watson, who kicked that wonderful goal at the end of the first quarter. Gave it to Stanton, who ran into a roadblock, forced to give it back to Watson, who steadies, takes his time, tries to find Lucas, can't. Good pressure from Reynolds. Well done, Lovett. That was superb stuff, but just couldn't quite handle the slippery football. At ground level, they fight on. and the umpire eventually calls for a bounce on the 50-metre arc for the Bombers.
It's been magnificent. Andrew Lovett.
He's just his speed around the contest, and he's prepared to go straight and hard at the ball, so he's been very lively. 11
possessions, betted only by Jason Johnson's 12. There's Andrew Thompson, swamped. McVeigh been pretty good, but Thompson fights on. Forces a neutral ball, and he might get a free kick. He will.
That is a soft free kick, but still the discipline of McVeigh, he just shouldn't be sucked into this sort of thing. If you touch anyone at the neck or above, you're going to come under the scrutiny of the umpire.
It was a silly mistake that saw St Kilda kick their second goal by McPhee. Can't afford to do and waste their good work, the Bombers.
And just what Essendon don't need. They've been disciplined and hard. And that was a crack showing early in the second quarter. Voss, wide, too wide. Bombers ball. Christy Malthouse, injury news down on that lovely tropical boundary line.
Oh, the lights have been turned on down here now as well. Fraser Gehrig is out on the ground. He's had his right quad strapped up, so he's just working through the discomfort of a corky there. And tough Robert Harvey out on the ground as well, with stuffing up his nose and a fat top lip.
Beautiful kick by Peverill to Solomon. Camporelli, who knows how to use a football. Bradley's up forward, couldn't get to the drop of the ball. Lee Fisher, Hudson. Mark Johnson working on him, just couldn't get him. Now he has. And it's holding the ball.
Yeah, they've paid that for incorrect disposal. I think he's almost rewarding Johnson for the effort there. The second effort to go again after Hudson. As we see here, Johnson misses the first attempt but gets up and goes again, and that is very good work. Just what you want to ask of your small forwards.
Now it's been given off to Lucas, and he's the man to have the footy. Right spot for him, out on the right flank. Draw it back a little, left to right. Kick it from 45 metres or so, well within his range.
One of the best kicks in the game for goal, and certainly, as you said, this is his side.
Give them a handy lead if he can do it, and he has done it.
And Lucas has been very good. He had the 5 possessions in the first quarter, but he was better than that. His work ethic to push hard up at the contest. He's playing on a very good player in Max Hudson. He's been very much an avenue towards goal, and to cap it off with a beautiful kick for goal from all but 50 metres was great.
I think Hudson was stiff, even though he held it a long time. The ball was knocked out of his hand.
A little bit unlucky.
I think there was no doubt that it was a reward for effort for Johnson more than incorrect disposal against Hudson, but you've got to make the most of your opportunities. A great opportunity for the Bombers.
Hill doing very well, gets it to Peverill, hacks it forward to Lucas. Another clearance. Oh, gee, got to be careful. Now, Lucas has been called to play on, which I don't know about that, but he kicks out wide to Bradley. So they retain possession, the Bombers. Started on the bench, did Kepler Bradley. Now playing up forward. Feigns to kick it long, then drops it in short to Peverill.
This is where you've got to think your way through here. There's a lot of numbers for the Saints back. Obviously, Lucas borderline, probably just outside range here, but you've just got to be patient and don't just bomb it long to the very big St Kilda defenders.
Marks this quarter 8 to the Bombers, 0 to St Kilda. So they've left off, well, they've carried on where they left off in that first quarter. Kicks towards the top of the goal square. Need a big mark. Hill there at the pack. Watson snaps around the body, but is offline. Would have been a valuable goal to Essendon, but Joe Watson is offline, so the margin is extended by just 1 out to 20.
We've been told in recent years that bad conditions can actually further emphasise the domination of the classier team, but today it does look as though it has closed the gap.
Well, as we said, you just come to the game not quite switched on, and the willingness to present as their Bomber players are, they'll work hard, it'll make the difference.
And they are working hard. Stanton at the moment with 3 or 4 or 5 against him, and he held them up until somebody arrived. It was Jason Johnson.
Oh, well done.
Yes, it was by Jolly, another one of their first gamers. Del Santo just spraying it, didn't have time to have a look. Goddard, awkward half volley, support from Voss. Gives it back to Goddard. Graham, just managed to get rid of Stanton, but the kick poor. Peverill. And it is all Essendon at the moment. Oh, Hudson. Anything Matt Maguire can do. he decides he can do a little bit better. Second glorious mark taken down the back by the Saints.
That's a great grab, and he's been some very good forms. One of the best defenders in the competition, Maxie Hutchinson. He can play on all sizes, takes the key forwards like Lucas, but can play on the running, crumbing type as well.
Boss long towards Revol, and he's got couldn't quite hold on for the third attempt. At ground level, picked up by Milne. Great tackle, McPhee. Did he hold him too long? No. And the Bombers try and get out of it again. Camperelli throws it. And it's some Kilda free kick this time. Now, Welsh needs to be careful. He does it well. Gets it back to Harvey. Great to see him back on the ground after he was decked with the old-fashioned coat hanger. You can see the effects of it by Adam McPhee. He kicks it short. Target Gehrig, in fact. Now, well done by Sullivan. Put enough pressure on. Now, love it. Across his own defensive goal square and tries to find Jolly and does effectively. Well done. Off to Welsh. The Bombers do it pretty well out of defence. Peverill is away. Confronted. Takes them on. Well played, Damien Peverill. That's what they've got to do, Essendon, if they're going to win. Take them on. Nash. Great tackle on Harvey. Play on's the call. They still let it go. Goddard. Eventually, umpire Nichols calls for it. He'll ball it up between wing and half forward for the Saints.
And it was good work from Peverill. He pumped out 2 leads before he took possession. He's already racked up 13 touches, has an indifferent year so far, but working hard today.
And the Bombers continue to apply terrific pressure and work the ball clear to Camperelli. It is wide open up here, but the kick's too strong for Lucas. Saints still under pressure. Clark. Graham slipped over at the crucial moment. Fights on. Powell on his wrong side. Wanting to get back onto the left. Fumbled by Graham. They're in the horrors back there at the moment. Del Santo. Fiora. They finally escape. Voss. Well played by Andrew Welsh. What about Andrew Lovett's confidence a moment ago? Back in defence, ran across the goal face, had a bounce in the wet, and then just kicked the ball down the corridor and weighted it perfectly.
I'm glad he hit his target, otherwise there might have been a message from the coach. But that is confidence. He's playing good footy, and if you back yourself, you're going to be a big chance, and this is what they're doing. The Bombers, they're backing themselves, they're going hard at the contest. And can I give a rap to Mark Johnson again? His forward 50 pressure is immense. He laid another tackle and just stopped the Saints from running out easily.
Isn't it great to see a game played one-on-one and both sides kicking into their attacking zone? It is a one-on-one contest. Ball spills out towards McVeigh and the boundary line too close. But Camperelli kicked it forward inside the Bomber forward 50. It was 3-on-3. It was a great old-fashioned contest. Good to see.
It is. Every time the Saints try to push a loose man back, Essendon will push one to match it up. They need the one-on-one across the field.
Ricks, the ground level, just handballs it free of the pack. And that is a boundary throw-in. Thought the umpire might have viewed that harshly, but he hasn't. So a boundary throw-in 45 metres around from the St Kilda goal.
And we see the clearances on the screen there. Essendon 11-4 in the first quarter and already up to a good start, 3-1 in this one so far.
Been impressed with David Hill today. Luke Ball looking for support. Del Santo. Well done, Peverill. Another touch. Over the head to a nest of Bombers. Hill, good kick to Dyson. And the Bombers away. Dyson takes his time, drives it long. Lucas and Fisher at the back, a chance for Lucas. Now Mark Johnson just couldn't find it when he had to. Reynolds, well done. Bradley around Goddard. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Love it back there. Oh, Lee Fisher mucks it up. Mark Johnson had a golden opportunity. Had it spent before he received it. Love it, still in play here. Lucas can kick a goal. He misses. One behind.
Good scrappy play again from Essendon. They're providing the contest, so they need small players, your Johnsons, Lovett's types, to sit at the front or at the back if you like, to be prepared for when that does slip off the hands.
Oh, that's the one he's been working for, and it came, and he just couldn't grab it. Clark. Kick, not great, but Maguire running onto it, surrounded. Voss to help him out, Del Santo. And it's open at the other end of the ground now. Gehrig and Solomon having their test of strength. Gehrig's winning it well.
It was extremely good work, Fraser Gehrig, and he's one of the players, and I think young Rewolds is similar. You can't let them get you under the ball. And Garrick has done this beautifully. Got Solomon under the ball, and if he's got clear space to the goals, he's a big, big chance. He's got too strong a body to push past him.
Lovely curl on that bouncing ball. He's watched a bit of Peter Dacos over the years.
So the Saints really went against the flow of play here. Hill decisively. Watson trying to get it out towards Camporelli, couldn't. Watson back with a chance again, paddles it forward, this time to accommodate Jason Johnson. Under pressure, so just handballs forward. Reynolds. Now Dyson, 3-on-3 inside attacking 50 for the Bombers. Long, love it. Well done by Graham at the back. Mark Johnson again. Great desperate stuff that. Lee Fisher under pressure, kicks it out wide. Montagna against Standen. Kicks across his body into the path of Pickett, but coming up from half-back McVeigh. Well done. Watson, now Standen. They've got run through the middle. Camporelli forced to kick quickly towards half-forward. And the mark's taken there by Hudson.
Just the last two entries, just bombing long, and as we touched on, just too much to the advantage of the Saints by going long and high.
A real game here. Oh, good old-fashioned wet day talk from Goddard. Perfect spin. No result. McPhee still being jeered by St Kilda supporters, not happy with his treatment of Robert Harvey during the first quarter. Jane Nash giving it to Dyson, who's having a good turn here. Solomon having a tough day against Gehrig so far. Gehrig with 2 of St Kilda's 3 goals. Bomber fans want to push there, but they don't get it. Peckett. St Kilda load up again. That's a good kick. Harvey.
Very well.
He read it beautifully, measured it off well. Revolt couldn't quite hang on. Well played by McPhee. Bombers just survived that one. They have numbers here. Jason Johnson mown down by Clark. Goddard. St Kilda just starting to work a bit harder. Harvey. And good vision again. Peckett. Milne goes, so does Gehrig. He goes for the bigger man. Have to win it at ground level. And Solomon makes sure he doesn't.
And Stevie Milne, he's got the arms up. What about kicking it to me? I disagree, actually. I think Milne has got to concentrate on being the forward crummer rather than pumping out the leads and getting on the end of on the foot pass. There is going to be plenty of ball on the ground. He must present at the front of the packs.
Chance for Gehrig. Now here he is. Stephen Milne from 30. Left foot. Hits the post.
But that's his go. He's got to be around the packs and get the ball off the ground. That's his strength. That's what he must play to.
Good feed towards Camporelli. Had to wait a long time. And soppers it towards the line. Probably not a bad option under the circumstances, with Del Santo being able to keep his feet. So a boundary thrown between wing and half forward for St Kilda.
And especially in these conditions, if you can get the ball over the line in your direction, it gives you a chance to get players around and start again.
So Camporelli again. Peveril, hack out of mid-air. It turns out okay because it lands with Jason Johnson. Kick towards, pull forward. Fisher was held, no free kick. Great tackle from Mark Johnson. But St Kilda hold firm. Maguire gets it from Sam Fisher and delivers out wide. Mark taken by Revolt.
This is a great battle. Bombers still lead by 14 points, but the Saints have lifted their intensity. Long way to go, but on days like this, scoring can get harder and harder as the legs tire.
And Maxie Hutchison has been moved off Lucas. He's picking up the first gamer in Sam Lonergan at the moment, and Fisher has been moved onto the big task of Lucas, who's playing very well.
Luke Ball replaced by McWalter, and there's a blood change here, or a blood force change. Mark Johnson is taking the long trek from full forward off the ground.
Well, they wouldn't want this man off the ground too long. He's been inspiring just for the pressure, the presence he's got up in that forward 50. He's not going to take too many contested marks.
Just one disposal, but he's been a good player.
I think he's been outstanding. Just chases hard, lays some tackles, and has forced the issue.
Looking like an old warrior with metres of plaster on his shoulders and blood coming from his nose. Saints hold firm again. Hudson, and he's placed that well. Oh, nearly a collision between Peckett and Revolt. Justin Peckett having a fair bit of it. Lee Fisher gives it back to Peckett. Good movement by St Kilda. Long delivery for Gehrig, who's been their best target. Heffernan to McVeigh.
Kick.
Into the corridor, beautifully placed. Jason Johnson. They start to go for him, Stanton, but there's not much to go to in midfield. Lovett. Camporelli. Normally uses the football well, and that is perfect to Heffernan. Slow build here from the Bombers. McVeigh runs off half-back for him and kicks long for Lucas, who outmanoeuvred Fisher and couldn't hang on to the mark. Clark let it go. Lucas, how will it skid? How will it slide and bounce? Just right.
Scotty Lucas has his 10th possession and very effective. He spilt the mark and probably made the slight error of letting the ball get behind him. He had a teammate in front for the front and centre Crum, but the second effort's exactly what Essendon's doing. They've gone 1, 2, 3 efforts, and that time he was rewarded with a goal. Very good work. We were trying to think, Michael, we're trying to think where the goals were going to come from, but Lucas has been superb, but it's mainly come from just the forward 50 pressure that they've been able to put on the St Kilda defenders. They don't let it slip out.
Hill's been outstanding, the captain this afternoon. Chance for Watson's been very good. Jason Johnson likewise. Little toe poke out wide. Chance for Lonigan. Well tackled by Clark. Was able to jar the ball free. Nash sees it over with Fisher. And a boundary thrown on the southern wing there. The inside 50 targets.
And obviously going to Johnson, who has had that spot at full forward for most of the game. Gehrig gets a lot of ball driven through him, and that's why Milne should be just sitting at his feet. Same with Johnson. Forward 50, pressure. When it hits the ground, must crumb. Watson,
Jason Johnson forced to kick quickly, high towards half forward. Stanton underneath it at the back. Lee. Well done by Del Santo, read it superbly. Off to Hudson, who delivers it out wide effectively. The mark's taken by Goddard just forward of the wing southern side.
Saints staring at a 20-point deficit. It wasn't meant to be this way. Goddard lobs it into the 50. Gehrig has 2 in front of him. Milne not able to take it cleanly. And the Essendon defence holding up well. Dyson just sweeping it out. McPhee needed to get it out. Graham for St Kilda from a long way. It's a good kick. It's a beauty.
A much-needed goal for the Saints. And Jason Graham, the ex-Brisbane Lions halfback, who has got a second chance at St Kilda Footy Club, has been good in recent times, and he's been good for this very reason. He's got a penetrating kick, and this was an opportunist goal, but in the wet conditions, just floated one through from 50, and very handy at this stage.
Gee, they're like gold, those sort of goals, aren't they? With under pressure, just banging it on the boot and converting.
And Alistair Lynch, you know of Jason Graham's goal-kicking prowess pretty well. You played with him in his first game.
Yeah, he's played up the Brisbane Lions, got a second chance down here. He's been fantastic for St Kilda. He's been a very good runner off half-back.
Ackland kicks it forward. Oh, gee, that's a bad decision. It looked as though it clearly hit the ground. Rebolt with the kick out wide, and Harvey marks. Harvey deep in the pocket. Harvey from 30. Drop punt is across the face. He's been pretty good in recent times, Robert Harvey, converting those opportunities. Here's the attempt. Oh, it's a bit, well, it just slipped out there, bobbled out. I was going to say I was wrong, but I was right. And the Bombers bring it out. And a chance here for Welsh, and centre wing drives it long. Hudson over the back Lee. Lucas has worked tirelessly so far in the game, and a boundary throw at half forward for the Bombers.
And once again, Lucas deliberately got the ball over the line there. He wasn't going to be paid the kick. As we see the contested possessions, Essendon 68, St Kilda is 60, and that's where the game's been won. But Lucas got it over the line. Start again, fresh start.
Free kick at the ruck contest, and it goes the way of Hill.
And you never know what's going to happen here. And Hill run off the ground. I think so. Stanton's going to take the kick. Must have been held off the play.
Perhaps so. Stanton's kick not really favouring the Essendon forwards. Hudson and Sam Fisher has a good target in Peckett.
They've got numbers running forward. Harvey.
St Kilda looking to work their way back close to half time. In the last 6 minutes, And there are big 6 minutes. Maguire. Not good. Bolton working it on for the Dons. Next goal pretty important here. St Kilda working hard for it. McWalter. Del Santo, Lovett mowing him down. Play on was a good call. Lovett fights on. Been magnificent in this first half.
And that's fantastic play from the Essendon forwards to hold it in. They would be robbed if they were going to pursue the late goal here. They must hang on, and they look like they're going about in this last 5 minutes of the second term.
Harvey having a lot of it in the last few minutes. Missed Revolt with that one. McPhee and Revolt. McPhee again, giving Reynolds a chance. 2 goals in the first quarter. Not such a great outcome that time. St Kilda's ball.
High risk, just kicking across your body in these conditions. But this is a cracking game. I think a lot of people come to this game today at the MCG thinking it was going to be a blowout. Maybe the weather was going to pull them closer together. But see the young Bomber players combined with some of the experienced heads just having a real crack and are being rewarded.
Bad luck there for Lovett. Incorrect disposal from Del Santo. Lucky for the Saints that he wasn't awarded a free kick, Andrew Lovett. But Revolt's got it just forward of the wing, southern side. St Kilda long towards half forward. Ackland a big leap. Almost the mark in front to ball. Bradley in there for St Kilda. So is Del Santo. Wrestle to the ground. The umpire eventually calls for it.
Now, Nick Rewald has had the 6 marks. I don't think that the Essendon team will be too worried where he's taken them. He's taken them up in centre wing, and that is why you need to play him from behind. You can't let him turn you around and take marks inside the forward 50.
Ball. And the mark is taken by Mark Johnson, who's be out on the full in any case. So, in fact, Jason Johnson across the ground. Nash. Short. We've got numbers here. Peverill. Off to Welsh. Good chase from Luke Ball. Long towards the wing. Revolt. McPhee. Well done, Revolt. Protected the ball. Knocks it to the advantage of Maguire. Well done, Mark Johnson. Great pressure as well. Coming from Lonigan. Eventually, ball comes out to Maguire, who finds Gehrig on centre wing. Solomon just stands off him and stalks him, and Gehrig does very well, finds McWalter just forward of the midfield.
So in the last 4 minutes, Saints looking to get close by half-time. Jason Graham kicked their last goal. Monster Torp, it is a big one, and there's no one at the back. Milner's got it, he's dangerous. And they know it. They're onto him. Montagna. He's all tied up too. Goddard. Choruses of ball from the Essendon fans. Well mopped up. Nash to Bradley. Took his time. Jolly. First gamer. Jason Johnson's 21st disposal. Stanton. Reynolds calling for it inside. The hand pass was sloppy.
Was sloppy. He just needed, in these conditions, once again, get it forward. If it's a 40-metre scrappy kick that goes over the boundary line, just high risk to overhandle the ball. But what a great little segment for Essendon there. They're up against the ropes at the moment, but hanging on, not conceding a goal.
Chance at ground level for St Kilda. The Bombers tied up. Umpire letting it go. Good umpiring. Spills towards Fiora. Now a chance for Lonigan to try to kick it off the ground. Fiora takes it over. Boundary throw between wing and half forward for the Bombers. David Hill hasn't had a lot of the ball in terms of disposals, but his ruck work has been exquisite. He's played very well, the big man, the captain. Ackland pushed into it by Bradley. Knocks it forward. Stanton takes it over and a boundary throw in.
And some of the leading stats getters, Jason Johnson, 21 possessions. Perivale's had 18 and Ricky Dyson with 15, but still Mark Johnson, the 1 possession. But he's not far out of the votes at this stage. He's working very hard.
Now there's a free kick that's coming the Bombers' way. Crucial 2.5 minutes here for the Bombers. They've worked so hard to get this 13-point lead. Can't let it evaporate. Jason Johnson to Bradley. Stanton, second sloppy handball in a couple of minutes. Goddard kicks it forward. It's very wide, but it's in the attacking 50 for the Saints.
A bit happening off the ball, but once again, every time you dispose of the ball, you're a chance to turn it over, and the hands in this driving rain, as you'll see on screen now, just got to use the ball, especially late in this quarter, long and wide.
This is great old-fashioned footy. on a pretty new ground, it must be said. It's absorbing the rain very well, the old MCG. Ackland for St Kilda. Good kick, but Jason Johnson in the right spot again. Disposal number 23. Solomon. Bombers would be pretty happy, I think, with a 13-point lead at half-time. Even happier if they could kick a goal here in the last couple of minutes. McPhee takes it a little wide for young Sam Lonigan, playing his first game for Essendon. Del Santo off for St Kilda. It's 70 metres from the Bombers' goal on the right half-forward flank, outside where the old cricket dressing rooms used to be. Michael Christian used to walk down that aisle chasing autographs.
As Mark Johnson, he's added a hit out to his list of stats today. He's got one hit out and one possession. He dives back on top of the football. Well done, played by Jolly. Good little give to McPhee. Reynolds, oh gee, couldn't quite make contact. Love it, knocks it intelligently. Dyson, they've turned it over though. Good pressure this time by St Kilda's McWalter. Beyond the wing, McVeigh in good position. Can't take it. Stanton around the body to a nest of St Kilda players. Peckett, can he keep it in? No, and that's a good result for the Bombers.
It's a very good result. 4-on-2 in favour of the Saints. Just dragging the ball back into the midfield without looking what was ahead was a bit dangerous, but a minute to go. I think the Saints just need to pinch a goal just to consolidate before half-time.
So Ackland knocks it forward. Well done by Jolly, in after the footy. Bradley pulled off it. Chance for Peckett has been one of St Kilda's best. Gang tackle. Well done Dyson. Then lost the handle. Harvey. Bolton. Kick it forward. We've got a one-on-one inside attacking 50. Great kick and Lucas's mark.
He's going long.
They get numbers back pretty quickly, Alistair, so I think he might go for home here. Drop punt. It's a thumping one. It's long. It's straight. It's at the post.
And why wouldn't you have a shot when you can kick like that? Very unfortunate. Now, the way the rule is now, St Kilda are going to rebound quickly out, but credit to the Bombers, they've held it up.
The woodwork here was given a real workout last night. Melbourne and Richmond hit the post 8 or 10 times, and there have been a couple already in this match. Hudson switching play to Sam Fisher. The Saints are going to run out of time here. What they don't want to do is make a mistake, and they have the members wing to themselves, but just 10 seconds to make something of this. Peckett. Ball with Welsh, who did pretty well. And Nash brings it away for Lucas. Time against the Dogs here. That is half-time, but they can head to the rooms. Absolutely pleased with their efforts and with the result on the board. 14 points in these conditions is a useful break.
Certainly, and this quarter was very much an arm wrestle. It was 2 goals 3 to Essendon, 2 goals 2 to the Saints, but you've just got to admire the Bombers, the way they passionately attacked the ball, were not prepared to be outdone or outcoached. I mean, they just matched up one-on-one all over the field.
They kicked 4 goals to 2 in the first quarter. It was 2 each in the second. The Bombers lead.
Winners.
That gets the kick away.
Losers.
That's about as bad as it gets.
And everything in between.
Oh, what a beauty!
Oh. He's getting out.
The Winners, 7:30 tonight on Fox Footy Channel.
It's 1970 Blues versus Pies. Alex Jezelenko. Can Jezzy, you stand here. I'll be Mackay. Dave, you can be Jurgen Jenkins. Little bit of leverage for Jezelenko. You'll be okay. Takes it to the wing position. Oh, Jezelenko! You yeah! Oi. Yes! Nice grab.
It happens all the time. Oh, yeah. It gets into your mind. Oh, yeah. A voice keeps telling you. Oh, yeah. Only Hungry Jacks will do. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just gotta have it. Oh, yeah. Hey, let me at it. Oh, yeah. Find a Hungry Jacket. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where a punter stands under it.
Oh, big fly hammer!
They're coming.
come in, they get genuine concern and knowledge. If I can ask a question and I'm not sure of the answer, or I think there might be a few answers, I'll definitely ask my team. We all help each other all the time.
Ozito electric spray gun, only $39.98. British Paints Ultra Flat Paint, $49.80. Multi-sander with kit box, $86. Set of 5 glazed pots, $8 per set. Collapsible storage cube, just $5.98.
They end off with this amazing service.
Bunnings Warehouse!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Monday. You could spend hours searching for the weekend's best quarter of football, but why bother? Fox Footy's already done it for you.
McLeod for another one! Yes! Chance for Melbourne. Bruce! He's got Hamlet!
The Crucial Quarter, Monday on Fox Footy Channel.
It was a cracking weekend for goals last round. Here are the nominations for the Toyota Goal of the Week from round 14. To prove last week wasn't a fluke, here's another great strike from Aaron Davey.
Davey, surely not! Surely not! He has done it again, but they just get better and better.
Carlton's Andrew Carazzo kicks a ripper from the boundary.
Carazzo, what a goal!
Superb stuff! You can't believe that!
And Matthew Robbins bamboozles his Kangaroo opponents with a bit of magic.
Still going. It'd be a freakish goal. It's one of the best you'll see.
Welcome back to the MCG, and that was the nominations for the Toyota Goal of the Year for round 14, and for the second week in a row, some Aaron Davies soccer magic was voted on by you and the experts to be the best goal of the week, and I think Tim Lane may have even tipped it to be the goal of the year. An early tip, we'll have to wait a few more rounds to see if that's the case, but certainly the goal of the week, so congratulations to him. Well, the conditions have really deteriorated here at the MCG. The rain is coming down even harder. The surface seems to be holding up pretty well, but it's certainly really, really slippery. It's dark. They've had to turn the lights on, and it is very cold. I think perhaps that's why Fraser Gehrig is still out in the ground and not icing his corked quad, because it is so cold. Andrew Thompson has had his knee strapped, but he seems to be okay. And Essendon, look, they are really fired up, got into a really tight huddle in the rooms. They really want to win this game.
Thank you, Christy. They haven't won since the 1st of April. It was April Fool's Day, and they haven't been able to reproduce that form since. They've given themselves a real chance here. 2 quarters to go. The Bombers by 14 points, and they make the first break here in the second half. Welsh kicking high. Lovett arriving to make it a contest and giving David Hill a chance. And now he'll have another go in the ruck.
And the Saints have started with a loose man in defence. They've pushed Xavier Clark across half-back, just trying to stem the flow of the clearance dominance by Essendon.
So a boundary throw in. Ackland fists it forward towards Harvey. Can he control it? In fact, he can't. In fact, Sockers are out on the full. So the Bombers will have the first inside 50 entry, you would think. Lead from Reynolds. Ball comes long to a couple of Saints. Oh, Ackland missed the mark he should have taken. Oh, Lucas, was he taken high? He's holding his head. Del Santo almost threw it out. Lee Fisher. St Kilda a lucky break there, and Fisher's kick finds Revolt sliding on his knees, who marks on the northern wing.
Once again, 90 metres from goal. Now Gehrig's got to push up.
So Revolt long towards half forward. Gehrig, in fact, the target. Solomon through his hands. Nash only as far as Harvey. Powell, little left foot kick, and it's a free kick. Which way is it going to go? I think it's going to go to Stephen Milne. So some early joy for the Saints, perhaps, with Stephen Milne to kick from just 30 metres from goal, directly in front.
McVeigh's just got the right arm across the shoulder and neck of Stevie Milne. Once again, Milne presenting on the lead, which I don't think is his core role in the team, but obviously very dangerous when the ball's anywhere near him.
I think McVeigh was concerned that he was going to get back onto the loose football and just tried to hold him up illegally. So this would be a great start for the Saints, who have been under pressure for the most part of this match. From directly in front, drop punt. We've got the distance. Just goal to St Kilda. So Milne kicks his first of the afternoon, and the margin is back to 8 points, and that's the closest that St Kilda have been since about the 24-minute mark of the first quarter.
It's good work from Milne. He was just pushing Vay, and as you said, Chriso, he was worried he was going to get turned around. But important opportunity made the most of from Stephen Milne.
Milne's shot was a little like him, short and cheeky, but it did the job. It's the first quarter in which St Kilda have kicked the first goal. Might be a good sign, and here they go again. Montagna to an open 50, Revolt and McPhee. Danger here, Nash not keeping it out near the boundary. McWalter turning into trouble. Harvey bouncing out of it, beautifully done. Revolt not able to get enough leverage on it. Stanton coolly around Gehrig.
They have to hold it up here. There's nothing much ahead, although Johnson works hard. There's some space.
And Welsh just looping it over the top to Stanton.
Stanton off a step. Tried to drag it back across his body to McVeigh. Ball was able to seize the moment, find the football, give it off to Harvey, kicks it short. McWalter. Saints opened well here. Chips it short. It's okay. Montagna. Immediate thought is to play on. Long towards Gehrig. Gehrig and Solomon. And Solomon was able to cover him pretty well there. Kick just falling at the feet of Gehrig. So a boundary throw in deep in St Kilda's left forward pocket.
A good pressure from Solomon. Robert Harvey has racked up the 5 touches already in this quarter. So in some great touch, Robert Harvey.
Ackland in front of Hill. Ineffective ruck play. Mill was he held again by McVeigh. Hill. Dangerous looking handball. McQualter's well tackled by Nash. Play on's the call. Well done by Ackland. A left foot snap out of the pass home. What a goal! So Kane Ackland kicks the second of the term for St Kilda. And in the blink of an eye, the margin is back to just 2 points, and all of the early good work done by the Bombers, well, it's almost come undone.
It almost has, and these are the opportunities that Essendon were making the most of early in the first half, but a good snap-on goal. You'll take those in these conditions. And the concern would have been also Stanton, his turnover. Trying to kick off one step in these conditions is high risk. Just got to be more precise with your kicking.
Fairly safe to say Kane Ackland hasn't kicked a better goal than that this year.
Probably
he's only kicked 3.
Probably not a more important goal kicked. Very important for the Saints. They've clawed their way back into it. Important for the Bombers just to stem the early tide that St Kilda have got on top.
They badly need a goal. Things have changed quickly. Ackland to Harvey to Milne. There's a good move by the Saints, and that's a great kick for Gehrig. Had to wait for it. Solomon has him covered. A little dangerous, but it's okay. Now, let's have a look. We get nervous when that happens, just wondering what the umpire will do. He calls for a throw-in. There's such a zeal about punishing the players who do take it out deliberately. That certainly wasn't deliberate. Goddard hasn't been able to impose a great influence today. Powell. Montagna. St Kilda pressing hard. Essendon have scarcely crossed the centre. Montagna loading up from a long way. A long kick. Just offline. The margin, a point.
They're finding the way into the forward 50 very easily, far too easily. Robert Harvey, 6 touches. His number of inside 50s for him as well. But the loose defenders for the Bombers just aren't getting to the drop of the ball.
Gee, it was a scrappy kick from Solomon. Reynolds was the target, but it fell short. Didn't make contact. Voss kicks it into the pocket. Revolt. Can he keep it in? And there's a free kick. Which way will this go?
It was against Solomon, for Revolt. Just gave him a bit of a shove close to the line, put him into the fence.
So he kicks it back to Montagna, who's been very busy in the early part of this quarter. 60 from goal. That's what's ahead of him. A very crowded forward 50 for the Saints. Decides to kick it to the top of the goal square. They come from everywhere. McPhee up high. Goddard. Little handball towards Powell. He tries to knock it to Revolt. Solomon. Little fumble. Gets it eventually to Camporelli, who coolly kicks to Lucas. And Lucas marks 40 metres from his own defensive goal.
Just lost control a little bit, the Bombers. Just got to be composed, think their way through this next couple of minutes, just to control the tempo of the game again.
He kicks towards Lovett at the back, Graham. Clears both of them, and that's a good result for the Bombers. They can reset with a boundary throw-in on the wing.
Reset and push numbers up towards this contest. As we'll see, Solomon, the ball was just about over. One of those discipline issues, same with McVeigh. You're not going to do any damage. The only thing that's going to happen is a free kick against.
Fair and square in the back. Absolutely no value whatsoever. Good pressure from the Saints. Bit of volleyball there from Andrew Welsh. The hook over his head. Hill, good ball into the 50. Jobe Watson just couldn't take it at the first bite. Needed to be clean. Not easy on a day such as this. Lee Fisher forced off balance as he kicked. And Essendon free. The Dons kicked the first score of the match 29 seconds in and haven't been headed. They're clinging to a 1-point lead now and have squandered an opportunity to set up a score. Courage needed here. Hill with support. Mark Johnson. Oh, they've made this a little difficult. Welsh. And they've turned it over. Goddard. Crunched by Mark Johnson. No penalty. Might have come just after the disposal, but the umpire satisfied that it was close enough. So a throw-in.
We look at the inside 50s, very even, but this quarter, St Kilda 6 and the Bombers just a 3. A little comparison, look at Solomon giving away a cheap free kick. The experienced players are the ones you need to stand up in these times. Robert Harvey just come out and grab the game by the scruff of the throat. That's what you need from an experienced player.
Stanton to Jason Johnson, back to Stanton, needs to be precise here. Kicks across the ground to the path of McPhee. We'll get an opportunity here. Mr. Steady, try and find an option. Decides to just bang it Blaze away. And that's just, well, poor play. Simple as that. Kicked it out on the full under no pressure and has handed the ball back to the Saints.
It was poor thought process. I suppose the thought of getting the ball long and probably over the boundary line was right, but the execution was poor. Why would you try to kick a torpedo that if you hit it well will go an extra 5 metres? The issue was you had to get the ball over the line. That was the main thing.
Graham backed himself, did well. A low skimmer. Mark Johnson just didn't quite hang on to it. Fights on like a tiger. Ball up. The only option there. Still the Dons lead by a point. Desperate attempt by Mark Johnson. Something will turn for him. They just about held that, you would think, looking at that replay.
Just hit the ground on the way down between his second and third bite at it.
Colossal struggle now. Goddard working it on. Camporelli taking it to about the right spot for the Dons under pressure. Half forward for St Kilda, looking to grab the lead for the first time all day. Peckett started the match on the bench, then came on and was one of St Kilda's best, but is warming the timber again. McPhee.
Good mark.
Chris Heffernan taking it low down.
Between half-back and wing.
The forward 50 for Essendon is totally clear.
They need the next goal, the Bombers, just to instill some confidence back into their lineup. Kick from Peverill is a beauty. Love it. Drop the chest mark. He's got time to recover. Where will he go? Tries to burn off Harvey and does. Handball over the top. Dyson. Will he get a favourable bounce? Kicks it to the top of the goal square like the cross from the corner. Soccer off the ground is offline by Welsh. Well, they had all the right thoughts in mind. It was touched, in fact. And as we watch it again, that was the cross from Dyson, almost soccer-like, and there was the touch deflecting the ball off its course. But the Saints now, through Powell, that was a poor kick as well. And Stanton at half-back, kicks it out wide, Bolton. This is an easy mark, but has got plenty of time. Can he find a target this time? Lovett runs for him. Lovett not quite. Boundary throw-in, 30 metres around from the Bomber goal.
He has been outstanding. It was game-breaking stuff a moment ago as he took them on, drew the tacklers and was able to set it up for Ricky Dyson's cross. Essendon pressing, but still needing that goal to settle things down, and they won't get it here, barring a calamity. Hudson receiving it from Sam Fisher. Lovett comes at him. McWalter. Maguire. Now the Saints can think about it. Revolt starts to go. Ball hasn't quite got the carry to reach him. Stanton, good as he is just about every week these days for the Dons. Watson, McVeigh. Essendon having to hold firm. Needed to be careful there. Bolton, Solomon. Untidy hand pass. Wily old Solomon good enough to clean it up. Camporelli. Bombers with men in the centre. Nash giving it to McPhee. Could do some damage from a long way. He's hooked the kick. And that's a better result than a score, you would think. At the end of the day, if it's a draw, perhaps we can argue about it.
So a boundary thrown. The Bombers need a goal. Led by 13 points at quarter time, by 14 at the long break. The Saints with the only 2 goals of this third quarter. Reynolds up in front, love it almost, but it got over his head to Peckett, who gives it to Graham, who drives it to the wing. Stanton's been very good, and he marks.
He's been one of their better performers for the whole season, Stanton. A class act through the midfield.
He had a great year last year, third in their best in fairness. McPhee towards Jason Johnson. Couldn't take the mark. Was he held? No, free kick. At ground level, they fight on. Reynolds and Jason Johnson do enough to tie Ackland up, and a bounce 45 metres from the Bomber goal.
And we see Jason Johnson trying to take that mark there, and that proves how difficult it is. 3 to St Kilda, just the 1 inside 50 mark to Essendon.
Revolt having a breather. The Bombers haven't gone away. St Kilda kicked those 2 early goals and looked as though they might break this open. They've kicked 2 goals per quarter, the Saints. I wonder if Essendon can hold them out for the rest of the term.
You just hope that with the confidence that the Bombers have had over recent weeks, you hope that a couple of goals from the Saints doesn't dull their confidence.
There is no doubt it's in their mind. They're thinking we've been in this position before, we've been run over in the past, hope it doesn't happen again.
Stanton almost broke through, love it. Maguire and Bolton. Maguire well held up by Bolton. St Kilda still under pressure. Peckett to Sam Fisher. Well, he tried to get it off the outside of his boot. And he's put it, 15 rows back.
Yeah, that's not a good one. Sam Fisher, I know he played golf with Jeff Ogilvy on Monday, and that was a snap hook with the 1 wood, I think, into the trees.
What magic can this man produce here? Andrew Lovett.
I could tip it wouldn't be just a straight drop punt on goal. He'll do something special, whether it's hit a target or try to kick the check side.
He tries the banana and kicks a goal.
That's fantastic.
Unbelievable stuff.
Just what Essendon, and that is just what this game needs. That talent that we've seen in the first half. He's a prodigious talent, and how often do we see these Aboriginal boys do something miraculous?
Well, they have imagination, don't they? They try things that other players mightn't imagine. Could the defence have touched that? The ball didn't have a lot of carry. It'd be interesting to see it again.
It is just amazing. They should have that big snap hook into the grandstand, but now it's a cardinal error. You've got to have someone on the line, and if someone was there, it would have been touched. That is something the Saints wouldn't be happy with.
Very important goal. The Dons lead by 8 points, and it's fitting that Andrew Lovett would have kicked it. Powell for St Kilda, but the Bomber defence is in control here. McPhee is on top at the moment. Playing confidently, running forward, setting things up. Peverill for Watson.
Our patience here, outnumbered forward of the ball, the Bombers, and it's good Watson. He's got the composure to know it would have been irresponsible to go long forward.
Gets himself into trouble here. Kicks from close to the man on the mark. St Kilda with good numbers. Harvey, but nothing there. Watson again. McVeigh had to wait for a hanging hand pass. Dyson.
And just been in the front position as a forward, the tumble punt into his arms.
Mark Johnson. McWall with the spoil. Jason Johnson. Love it. Done it again.
Fantastic. And Lovett, he's just kicked a miraculous goal, and that one, a little fumble in the wet conditions, but he was in the right spot, in the right position, at the right time, just to tow it through. This is good work, hits the dangerous spot. The spoil goes to the back of the pack, and Lovett just towed it on the right foot through for a goal.
So the Bombers have responded. They've kicked the last two to extend their lead back out to 14 points. Peverill has been very good, Damien Peverill. Beckett missed with the soccer. Mark Johnson has been tigerish all afternoon. He's been tough and disciplined. Just the sort of game all Bomber fans expect him to play.
And we look at the last 10 minutes. Essendon dominated possession 43-21 after the initial burst, Harvey-led burst. The Bombers have bounced back.
Revolt carried forward by Mark Johnson. No free kick. He got away with one there. Bradley just jams it on the boot towards half forward. Chance for Jason Johnson. Wonderful first half he played. Taken off the ball. Del Santo coolly with poise kicks to Revolt. Off to Harvey. Thought about going into the corridor, instead goes down the line to McWalter.
Garrick's one out. Got to get it in quick. He's taken too much time here. McWalter had to be quicker.
Just chips it out wide to Peckett.
Now St Kilda, they've got to work their way through this. Obviously, their coaching staff, they've moved Rewalt, which you don't see often. He's been moved into the ruck position, just trying to get some run around the field.
Lee Fisher, great chase down by Standen. Willie calls a turnover. Great tackle on Thompson there, coming from McPhee. And they turn it over through persistence. Nash to Peverill. Now they've got two players on the southern wing. Standen's been outstanding. Kicks to a contest. Jason Johnson, good fist. Brilliant handball from Hudson into Del Santo, and now to Graham. And St Kilda build. Graham runs the full measure, drives it towards full forward. Solomon up in front. Couldn't take it. Well positioned though. Camporelli gets back. Handball intended for Heffernan was cut off, but they've got numbers. Mark Johnson back to Camporelli, and Nash clears from half back.
Great defence from Essendon, turning it into attack. But St Kilda now with the numbers in their back half. Revolt's back. But Bradley takes on two of them. Just couldn't hold them out forever. Two became four. And Peckett's able to slip away. Call over the top from Ricks. Big fella needing to do something nimble. Goddard receiving from Ball. It's all down to Gehrig, and he has three against him and can't get near it.
And the rebound here. Peverill to Camporelli. There's numbers everywhere. They push back hard, the Bombers.
He couldn't see a target. He held it a long time. Lovett's the danger here. Graham has to subdue him. Lovett goes for the line, and that's called deliberate.
That is a wrong call, because what Lovett's trying to do there is get the ball forward. I mean, the fact that it went over the line is a byproduct that he's under pressure. It's a wet day. His coach tells him to get the ball forward.
That is a shocking decision.
There was no motive to do that, was there?
No, absolutely not. Now, is that the look of the Essendon fans call? The umpire says throw it in.
That was probably more deliberate than the Lovett one, actually.
They might have been getting itchy lips. It was only the third free kick in 20 minutes in this quarter.
Just disappointing. Umpires have exercised a lot of common sense today. But not on that occasion. Wet, slippery ball. Revolt gets it down. Finds it at ground level off to his captain Ball. Fisher, yes. Juggling mark, 65 from goal.
Once again, 4-on-2 deep, Essendon's favour.
Revolt infects the switch to Fisher, Sam Fisher, in space. Now kicks to the lead of Gehrig, well done by Solomon. Gehrig a chance, Soccer's out on the full. And a free kick to the Bombers in the back pocket.
Everything that happens for St Kilda at the moment is difficult. They've got to work extremely hard. The Bombers have fought back well after that initial spurt. But Gehrig just not quite getting the space. Bombers midfielder pushing back hard.
They fought back very well when it looked as though it might quickly get away from them. Dyson goes for Jason Johnson.
And they've been better finding targets this week compared to recent weeks. They just continue to turn the ball over, and they've been much better.
Lucas and Hudson, and a win to Hudson there. Lucas fights back. Mark Johnson. Lucas, the old hands are on deck. Lee Fisher, who was down in front of goal a moment ago. Hudson to Clark. A long, awfully spinning ball. All Essendon. Essendon with numbers back, and St Kilda likewise. It's become a battle of the defences. The Bomber numbers hold things up. Goddard slipping a a foot in there. It's an Essendon free kick.
Was holding off the ball. Just held on too long to Andrew Welsh there.
Essendon's first free kick for the term. The Bombers lead by 14 points.
And they'll probably switch it up here laterally. A couple of players spare. No options presenting forward.
That's what's ahead of Stanton. Well, he's kicked it straight towards Revolt, who goes back and marks. The target, in fact, is Jason Johnson.
Yeah, just wrong option.
Now, loose player, Harvey, has been devastating in this third term. Harvey runs to 55, kicks towards the goal square, going across Pebble, almost chance for Revolt. And in desperation, Welsh soccers away from the goal square and over the boundary line. And what's he going to say here, the umpire? It's a boundary throw-in just inside the 50-metre arc for the Saints.
It was fortunate for the Saints. It went out then. McPhee and Camporelli were spare on the wing.
Milne around the body, high, inside the tackle 50, going back Stanton, who has got a lot of the footy this afternoon. Disposal number 26.
And that's his fifth mark as well, Chris O.
Yep.
But I'm just wondering here whether the Saints need to go one-on-one. We see numbers back in front of Garrick, and they're continually repelled. Time to go one-on-one.
Jolly's kick not really well placed, but the Bombers come away with it. Camporelli, Heffernan
should have given it.
Goes wide to Lucas, and Hudson brought him down there. No free kick. Bomber fans thought it was on. Was that on for in the back?
In the back.
It is.
But the spirit of the rule of taking the arms was brought in for that Hudson instance there, where you just take out the player, restrict his movement to the ball.
Oh, the kick is a shank, a shocker. And an easy turnover. Harvey with Lucas trudging after him and no one else in sight. So the dual Brownlow medalist can have a bounce. Didn't quite get it right for ball. Revolt surrounded. And the Bomber defence is holding firm. Stanton, a wide open 50 here. Numbers though against the Bombers. Lonigan their only hope. He wins the battle against Voss. He wins the battle against Ball. Stanton, Lovett steals it from his teammate Bradley. Now loses it. Sam Fisher. The Saints turn. Revolt and McPhee. Big win to Revolt.
Just forward of the wing. Where will he go? He's got McQualter short, ignores that. And eventually does honour the McQualter lead. Deep in the pocket. 50 from goal. Kicks towards Milne at the back. Watson. Oh, gee. Milne plays on and kicks a goal.
Well, he's absolutely crushing.
Well, we've praised the Bomber defence all afternoon. They've been fantastic. But Joe Watson there really just caught completely out.
The fact that he didn't get his fist on the ball, he had to get body at least into Milne for a little player like that to take a contested mark so easily and then play on just compounded the problem.
Just extraordinary.
Kevin Sheedy would be devastated with that instance there. Just had to get body, had to get a fist on the ball. Just lack of experience as a defender for a guy that plays very well through the midfield but just had no body contact.
Revolt presumably being rested for a big last quarter effort. As Watson had size, he had position, he was perfectly set for a regulation spoil and couldn't get a hand onto the ball. McPhee goes wide for Jason Johnson.
And that'd be the first thing you'd be doing with him next week. Midfielders need to...
well, one disaster could turn into another. Welsh to Camporelli. Solomon, who knows a bit about defence, and he takes it wide, but Peckett saw it coming. And the Saints are pressing. They kick too early, and they're trying to kick a couple late to really set this up for a last quarter fight to the bitter end. Sam Fisher now, 65 out.
They spent a lot of time in this half of the ground for St Kilda. They're just working their way back into this. Nothing seems to be going their way, but they're finding a way to get back in the game.
Bombers have it crowded. Hard to mark that. Gehrig, was there something high? No, there wasn't. Essendon with numbers behind it. Bradley to Camporelli. And Watson getting there and making some amends for a nightmare a moment ago. So under 90 seconds left, and a goal either way could be crucial.
Watson, short, mark taken by the first game at Jolly.
Great way to start for Ben Jolly and Sam Lonigan if they could play in a winning team after 14 weeks.
Kick towards the wing, up Heffernan, got hands to it initially. Now Reynolds, Watson again. Raw handball, Peverill, look out. Kept his hands free to try to get it to Jolly. Paddles intelligently to Bradley, but they're under pressure here, the Bombers. Well done, Jolly. Knocks it to Dyson. Somehow got the handball to Heffernan. He's got time just to steady. Back to Dyson. Camporelli's free on the wing. Kicks beyond him into the path of Hudson. And as we tick down, Hudson round Camporelli. Just hurried kick. Dyson attacks it. They've got time here, the Bombers. Kick short. Bolton doesn't get to him. He was taken out by Maguire and gets a free kick.
Fortunately, the umpire's blown time on, so the clock stopped. 2 on 1 deep in the goal square if he can get it there.
So Bolton, with 15 seconds on the clock, kicks it poorly into the pocket. Disappointing finish and kick there from Bolton.
It was an opportunity. They still have a last chance. St Kilda won't be kicking a goal in the last 10 seconds.
Could be something to love it. On the move, you can pull something out of this.
Bombers by 8 points. There's your man. There is your man, Lynchy. What's he done? It is 3/4 time, and the Bomber fans who came to see their 100-1 underdogs try and produce a miracle must be feeling pretty good. They lead St Kilda by 9 points at the last change.
Very good effort, and they hung in there. They were certainly challenged. St Kilda are very much in this. They've certainly got the talent and potency up forward to turn this game right around. It's been a tough work for them, but Essendon have led the way over the ball for the whole game.
Saints have won their first quarter of the day, but the Bombers lead by 9 points.
Today, live and exclusive from 2, Fox Footy hosts an intriguing clash as Carlton battles the Western Bulldogs. The Blues have shown some promising signs this season.
Straight through the centre for the young man.
However, they face a Bulldog side that may be lacking height, but they sure don't lack any talent.
He's got it!
Take control. Press red to go Fox Footy active and put yourself in the director's chair. Your Sunday starts at 2 with the Blues and Bulldogs live and exclusive. Then the Winners Weekend Wrap, followed by Magpies Dockers, then Cats Power.
It's 1970 Blues versus Pies. Alex Jezelenko. Can Jezzy, you stand here. I'll be Mackay. Dave, you can be Jurgen Jenkins. A little bit of leverage for Jezelenko. You'll be okay. Takes it to the wing position. Oh, Jezzy! Yo, yeah! Yes! Nice grab.
Everett in the middle. Look at that. Quite brilliant, wasn't it? Driving ball forward. Gilby past the centre. Johnson takes the mark. How's that for a coast-to-coast goal?
Sharman. Good delivery.
Your complete AFL Matchday Guide. The facts and stats you need to know, plus the stuff you've always wanted to know. Grab a copy of the new AFL record.
Love it. Can he pick it up and again get the banana working? Have a look at this boy.
Don't tell me.
Phenomenal.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman Returns tumblers are now landing at Hungry Jack's. Purchase any value meal, and then for $2.50, you'll receive a Superman Returns collectible 3D tumbler. Collect all 4 and leap into Hungry Jack's now. Last week on The Gospel.
Now, the box shorts, they say,
It's going to be skin colour.
What would Brett Hardy wear?
Flaming red one.
That's The Gospel on Fox Footy Channel.
Front position as a forward, the tumble punt into his arms.
Mark Johnson. McNulty to spoil. Jason Johnson. Love it. Done it again.
Fantastic.
2 third-quarter goals by Andrew Lovett, and the Bombers preserve a lead of 9 points at the last change. St Kilda running the risk of frittering away a great opportunity to press for a place in the top 4. The Bombers looking for their first win in 14 weeks. And Grant Thomas laying the law down. Midfield, Essendon have taken the honours against the much vaunted St Kilda lineup. They've won a bit more contested possession, they've won the clearances, and they've worked it around pretty well.
Yeah, the clearances is what stands out watching the game. They've been very good in and under, as they say, and getting the clean clearances, being able to have the unpressured ball. And when St Kilda have got the clearances, Essendon have had the pressure there, so it's not an easy set up into the forward 50.
Well, most of them have played the majority of the day for the Bombers. Jason Johnson's had a few minutes breather, but not a lot.
And St Kilda have probably been able to rotate their midfield a little bit. When you look at Ball's had a bit of a spell on the bench. Del Santo, both players with 11 and 12 touches respectively. They're exactly who St Kilda need to stand up in this last quarter.
Robert Harvey too. And Revolt we saw on the bench a couple of times, just briefly, during that third quarter.
Well, they rotated Revolt through the midfield, so he had a bit of a run in the ruck. I think he was spending most of the time down forward, but maybe in the last 10 minutes, if things haven't turned, Revolt will go back into the ruck, into the midfield.
Saints must know how important this is.
Yes, it's such a critical game for them. Interestingly enough, they've won 62 times at the MCG, just 5 times after trailing at three-quarter time. So the task ahead of them, they did show glimpses in that third quarter that they're up to it, and this is going to be an exciting finish.
Rashidi and Essendon are like a recurring nightmare for St Kilda fans. It's 32-7 Essendon's way in the Sheedy reign of 26 years, and even with Essendon at the bottom and St Kilda up in the top 8, the Saints are still having their problems. Here we go in the last quarter with Essendon a kick and a half to the good. They have been valiant and they take it away. Peveril out wide. Lucas with a long chase. Hudson not far behind him. Bit of fancy footwork, but Hudson able to mop it up. Goddard hasn't had a big impact today. Finds Clark, and St Kilda press first. Revolt has McPhee battling, and he can line them up from there.
That was very good, long, quick to McPhee and Revolt, who isolated. And what I was very impressed with, although Milne was running up on centre wing, he got to the front of Revolt just in case he spilt the ball. That's exactly where Milne's got to spend most part of the game, to the front of his key forwards.
It's the 5th time the Saints have marked inside 50 on this difficult day. Revolt kicks truly. The margin is 3 points.
Impressive start. They were prepared to go forward under pressure, and if you've got big forwards like Garrick and Revolt, if you can get them one out, you'll give them a reasonable chance to take the mark. But it was good work. Milne was in the first contest, got to the second contest, wasn't required, but a good kick on goal, which is great for the confidence of Revolt.
So Revolt with his first of the afternoon. 13 marks, 20 disposals. Real test this for the Bombers. Thrust forward, but only far by Jason Johnson, only as far as Ball. Kick towards half forward. Mark Johnson bumped off it by Milne. Montagna has it. Well tackled by McVeigh. Ball's not coming out. The umpire lets it go. Montagna now. Camporelli just handballs towards the line and over.
And that was probably the most deliberate over the line you'll see all day, but they're never going to pay it. But it was good work, just allowing the team to set back up while they're under pressure.
Pace everything there from Scott Camporelli. All just getting there by a roll or two. Dyson now shrugs the arms clear to give the handball to Peveril. Up to the wing. Out comes Lucas, who's worked tirelessly today. He's held. No free kick. Well done, Camporelli. Reynolds now. Penetrating kick towards Lovett and Graham. Is there a free kick there? Stanton Bounces off Goddard. Stanton's been outstanding. Dribbles goalward. Offline. And with a boundary throw in deep in the pocket.
Sometimes those decisions, once you get the arm around the waist of the forward and pull him around, it can go against you, those decisions. Probably a little bit lucky, Jason Graham.
St Kilda have trailed all afternoon, but trailed by just 3 points now. The Bombers got the fight to keep going. Lucas handballs towards the goal line. Ball slips over. Handball. They're in number, but they're under pressure. Del Santo. And umpire suggesting he got boot the ball over for a boundary throw-in. So the ball is kept in the Essendon forward 50, another boundary throw-in.
It is frustrating sometimes when defenders concede easy points, but probably in that situation, Ball or Del Santo had to go back.
It was messy. Ackland knocks it back to the line, nearly knocked it out on the full.
With the rule the way it is so easy to set up from a kick-out if you can quickly get the ball. So that situation, take the pressure off yourself, concede the point, then run it out the other side.
Bombers by 3 points and dangerous. Jason Johnson-Peverill on his preferred side, and he nails it.
That was very good work from the stoppage. The ball was over the line. The stoppage, what was good then, the Essendon players had a few players on the inside, but as you see, Peverill, Johnson's there on the outside of the pack. If the ball spilled out, they were going to be a very chance to get a shot on goal. It's important to have balance around the congestion. You've got to have players in and under, but you've got to have receivers on the outside.
Jason Johnson, been outstanding. Welsh kicks it up and under. Camporelli's got a lot of it. Kicks it quickly towards half forward. Hudson in good position here to affect the spoil. Lucas. And we'll get a boundary thrown right half forward. And there's a ladder as it stands.
Yes, St Kilda frittering away an opportunity here. A win with a healthy percentage boost, which was expected, would have had them in 4th position tonight. But as it is, they could leave themselves a little precariously perched in the 8.
Peverill hurriedly kicks it inside, attacking 50. Reynolds comes out and did all but take the mark towards Lovett. Oh. He's got Jason Johnson free. Jason Johnson from 20 metres has missed. Oh. Gee, I hope that doesn't come back to haunt him, because you will not get an easier opportunity at this level. And he frittered it away. You can see the drop of the ball on the boot was crooked. Andrew Lovett, great leadership there, saying, don't worry, let's get on with the next one. But that was a golden opportunity.
And it looked like Lovett was talking to him here. His arms out, indicating that he was shepherding. But at the top of your voice, you've got to say, run it in.
Terrific response from Lovett, wasn't it? To not admonish him or do anything other than encourage him. Stanton and the Bombers are still pressing. Dyson hooked it deliberately and gives Bolton a chance. Awkward for him from there. Not a bad centre. Lovett the spoil. Hudson the crumb. Ball. St Kilda with their backs to the wall. Fisher. Sam to Del Santo. And just a careful little poke to Peckett.
Over the years, we've seen some key forwards give out some fearful sprays if things haven't gone right deep in the forward line. There's good work, as you've touched on, from Lovett. Just to say, keep the chin up.
You going to name names?
Oh, no, but one of our mates...
just a little.
One of our mates from down Tassie Way has been known to give out a spray too, Big Richo.
Goddard to the 50. Thompson had it, gave it off. Ball up. Here's Hayden Kennedy's assessment of that tangle.
And we have a look at the top disposal winners on the ground, and sometimes stats can be a bit wrong in modern football, but Johnson, Peverill, Stanton all have got the ball in the right position and they've dominated for the Bombers.
Ackland, wild sort of handball. Goddard's got it, tries to fend off Watson, but he's dragged down, and we'll get a bounce or a ball up on attacking 50 for the Saints.
As we look across the field, you see the one-on-one contest again, and that started from the first bounce. The Bombers have obviously had an instruction not to allow St Kilda players such as Goddard and Graham to float behind the ball.
Chance for Lee Fisher, off to Milne. Milne from 35, right foot snap, is home. Goal to St Kilda. And what a difference a few minutes makes. Jason Johnson, a regulation miss from 20 metres at one end. Milne capitalising on an opportunity. A kick around the body from 35 under pressure. And all of a sudden the margin is back to 4 points.
And as we saw then, Milne is so dangerous around the contest. His opponent just lost body contact and he floated through, was on the end of the ball.
Stephen Milne has become the thorn in Essendon's side. 3 second-half goals. It's a day tailor-made for a little goal sneak. He has some Kilda back in it. And they are going to win this takeaway, are they? No, they're not. Luke Ball was well tied up. Camporelli to Watson.
Free kick.
And after giving them a chance to see if they could gain some advantage, the umpire calls it back. Dyson to Camporelli. Been good today, a former Carlton man. Placement there, perhaps not great. Lee Fisher, a strong mark. He's good overhead.
Yeah, just the wrong option. They've worked their way back into this St Kilda extremely well. I mean, as we've touched on, nothing's really gone right for them. They probably haven't been as hard as we know they can be around the contest, but they've just found a way to get within striking distance.
Well, it's all about the present for the Saints. It's all about history for Essendon to try and avoid this losing streak of 14. The worst ever in the history of the club. Andrew Thompson pumps it in the Gehrig direction. Push and shove with Solomon. Milne lurking there again. And there'll be a throw-in.
There's no doubt, having been involved with teams that have been on the receiving end of a few losing streaks, as we see this ball just get over the line, it does go through your mind, especially the young fellas. Here we go again. Could we lose this one?
Ackland gets it down. Watson held off the ball. Ackland another try at it. Camporelli. Chance for Watson. Confronted by Harvey. And the Bombers do very well to get it out of that situation. Well done, Hill. Fisher, who's just been loose in the St Kilda defence for the last few minutes. Jason Johnson applying pressure. Umpire letting it go. Well played, Hill. Camporelli off the step. Scrambles towards half-forward. Maguire will be there first. Well ahead of Bolton. He read it very well, did Maguire. And he delivers perfectly onto the chest of Del Santo on the southern wing. Loose player inside is Fisher, who's, as I mentioned, been playing that loose player in the last few minutes. Kicks it short. Thompson presents. So Andrew Thompson back in the side this afternoon. Oh, Rebold, look at this. McPhee left for dead. Not quite sure, Alistair, whether there was a block or the like put on McPhee, but Rebold 15 metres ahead of his immediate opponent. Let's have a look at it.
Very nice lead.
There was no block. It was just loose marking.
Yep. Lost contact. Didn't expect Rebold to be on the end of the short pass. Just poor checking.
This to put the Saints in front. For the first time this afternoon, Nick Rebold kicks a goal. St Kilda in front. He's second of the quarter. And they've done it hard all day. The test now for the Bombers. Are they up to it? Has their confidence been sapped by this St Kilda resurgence?
And he's just thought his way through that Thompson to find Nick Rebold, and there's always been questions over his kicking in recent times, but he's just gone back when the pressure was on. He's slotted it when his team needed it most.
2 goals from virtually the same spot to Rebold in this final term. The Bombers have been winning the centre takeaways all day. 10-6, 3-1 in the last quarter. This is the biggest of the day. Luke Ball is buried. Ball up. The Bombers, after leading for nearly 3.5 quarters, have finally surrendered the advantage. Ackland wins. Thompson, the veteran, works it forward. McPhee leads Rebold to it this time. Controlled it well, very well. And that's a clever kick. Gives Stanton a chance. Needed clean hands. Did it coolly. Love it. Can he hang on? He can. Fine mark.
And Graham's just snuck over the mark, that extra couple of metres, which would make it difficult for Lovett. Umpire brings him back now. Tough shot on goal here.
It's only Essendon's second mark inside 50 all day. Could Lovett make something of it?
It is not where their goals have come from. It's been the forward pressure that's got their goals. Handy time to start.
Tremendously difficult shot. Lovely kick. Magnificent kick. The Dons are back in front.
He's a prodigious talent. That's his third goal for the day, and each goal has had something special about them. And Essendon fans would be delighted to see this kid come on. He can be very good, and he can be average at different times, but he's been electrifying today, and he's been left one out in the goal square, and he's a very dangerous player to have back there. Jason Green has got his hands full.
Well, what a great response by the Bombers. Back in front by 4 points. Andrew Lovett, 3 goals. Hill has played very well. Jolly, well, free kick St Kilda.
Talk about Rewald's pressure to go back and slot a goal from that position. Young Lovett, just to go back and kick one from there, just when his team needs it, was better than Rewald's.
Luke Ball kicks it short. Goddard. Still plenty of time left, just 13 minutes played. Drives it long to the goal square. Gehrig and Rebolt there. Ball to the back. Milne from the pocket. Milne misses to the near side. Tried to bring it back. The outside of the right boot failed.
Was it the right option, or should he have used the left and just finessed, or not finessed it, but just got it home?
We see so often his ability to use the check side. He's very right-sided, but I was more impressed with the position. Once again, he's hitting the right position. He wasn't doing it early in the game, but he's getting to the front of his key forwards.
Camporelli needed weight on the kick. It didn't quite clear Rebolt. McVeigh, dangerous.
That's a good option, though, just to get the ball forward.
What's the call?
No, it's heavy throwing. I thought...
I was with you there, Tim. I thought he did, but
he seemed to get both.
No different than the Lovett one in the third quarter than that one there. Just
why would he go out?
Hamstered forward.
Going for territory.
Just wanted territory.
McPhee. Ball fighting hard. Hasn't been his best day, but he hasn't stopped trying. Del Santo to Rebolt.
The ball has fought hard in this last quarter. Now, Rewald hasn't got the journey, I wouldn't have thought here. He's just allowed numbers to get back, so he'll be looking for someone to push up at him.
Milne being absolutely surrounded. 2 or 3 of them at him. Rewald sits it. And Watson dropping it. They have numbers, but they're not handling it cleanly. Well done by Nash for McPhee. Bombers out of awful trouble. Nash keeps coming. Good effort. Now this is Jolly, Lonigan. Lovett's first mistake of the day. Graham the packet. St Kilda could hurt on the rebound. Thompson found the handle. Picks a target. It's a good one. Xavier Clark can line them up. He won't. Fiora, a dangerous long left foot kick. Fraser Gehrig.
It'll be interesting where he marks his ball. Are they going to give it to him in the square? No, just outside, so he'll come around on the angle. But Fraser thinks his way through this pretty well. He won't go back too far, and therefore just a couple of steps to the left will bring him right around.
Shouldn't be a problem for him, and it's not. The Saints are back in front.
A cracking game and a great answer. We see the Lovett mistake there, and as you touched on, Tim, he has been very good all day. Probably his first mistake. Someone should actually get across to him now, give him a little tap on the back and say, head up, we need you for the next 10 minutes.
So the Saints back in front. Just get the sense that Saints goals coming a little easier than the Bombers at the moment. But Jason Johnson inside attacking 50. Hodgson, the relieving mark.
Well, the recent goals from the St Kilda team is what we thought was going to be a problem for Essendon at the start of the game. The contested mark by the key forwards deep just allows you an easy shot on goal if you can do it.
Fisher in real trouble. The tackle coming from Lovett, but finds some help and support in Sam Fisher. Montagna
Bombers numbers behind the ball here. Doesn't know where to go.
Graham from half back. Hill almost. Now Jason Johnson needs to be clean here with his hands. He is. Oh, dubious looking kick. Doesn't give Lucas much of a chance, but he intelligently taps it into the path to Mark Johnson. Handball through the congestion to Hill. His handball spilt by Lucas. Standing there. Just a couple of little fumbles. Fiora ducked ahead. No free kick there.
Bit stiff.
Nash through his legs. Well done. Great stuff from Mark Johnson. Inspiring, in fact. Hill, Peverill, Nash. In fact, it's not Nash, it's Jolly. Welsh to Camporelli. Back to Welsh. He chips it out wide, very wide. Players very tired. Stanton and Boss boundary throwing.
What a great contest. The ball was just forced from one side to the other with pressure there.
There's St Kilda's next month, and they're all winnable games.
They certainly are, and more importantly, their key forwards, Milne, Garrick and Rewald, are the ones that have stood up and kicked the goals this quarter.
Del Santo and Harvey combined, but Peverill will block their path. Non-preferred side, not a good result. Luke Ball.
And this man's been handy in the last quarter. He only had the 11 possessions for the first 3 quarters of the game, but he's worked his way into the game now. He's up to 16 touches, important ones.
Goes for Revolt, and that's not a bad result. They gain 50 metres or so and carry the ball into their attacking half.
There's a telling stat. The quarter-by-quarter marks have been fairly even across the game, but 22-6 in favour of the Saints this quarter.
Ricks winning the knock. Camporelli the ball. Peverill again. Nowhere to go.
I hope he knew that he was over the line then and just wasn't handballing the ball back into play when there was a lot of St Kilda players there. We give him credit that he knew he was over.
Plenty of time left. Jolly to Jason Johnson. To Nash. Clever bit of work. They're not out of this yet. Camporelli.
That was Ball again. As we said, he's had the 6 touches this quarter already, but this is what you really need from your leader, just to get a smother on and stop momentum that Essendon were trying to get.
60 metres from the St Kilda goal. Ricks gets it forward. Fiora.
Had time.
Little toe poke forward. Couldn't pick it up. Nash, cool under pressure, delivers to Camporelli, who thought about it. Who has been given the benefit of the doubt by umpire Kennedy. Thought about playing on, and now decides to kick across the ground. Mark's taken by Jolly, the first gamer. Handball to Nash, who, clever little kick, just carries the required 15 to Welsh. Welsh now tries to pick out a target. Lonigan on the break. Gets past both he and Jason Johnson, but good pressure coming from Lonigan. Gives the ball back to Jason Johnson. Peverill. Haphazard kick forward towards Lovett. Lovett and Graham close to the line and over. So a boundary throw in at half forward for the Bombers. Still over 6 minutes left. Plenty of time for either side here to get over the line. But at the moment, St Kilda holding sway, lead by 3 points.
Bombers turn to attack. Harvey, though, turns them out. Sam Fisher with percentage option going to Revolt and along the boundary line. Del Santo roving him to a nicety. And St Kilda are dangerous. Fiora sparingly used, having some influence now. Clark, good smother on his kick. McVeigh working it to Mark Johnson. What price Mark Johnson to pluck the winning goal for Essendon after all his battles today? McPhee swings it long. Oh, good mark by Voss, who copped a nasty one early.
Started across half forward, and he's gone back to his more traditional role across half back, where over the last few years for the Saints he's been outstanding and classic by that third up mark. Always very safe hands.
Sam Fisher finds Clark. St Kilda just controlling things for the moment. In front, Fiora getting busy in this final term. Thumping kick to the goal square. Gary pushed Solomon out. Solomon has it now. Handball is okay. Welsh needs to find a target. Hackett, McPhee to spoil. Well played by Jason Johnson. Now Camporelli, the tired legs. Boss, will he get there? Well played by Brett Boss. 3-on-2, the numbers for the Saints winning out, and there's a fourth involved. Robert Harvey made ground to get across. Long towards Revolt. At the back, Nash outmarks him, pointless. At half-back for the Bombers.
See what a win that was. Jason Johnson's 38th disposal. The most he's ever had in a league match. And it keeps the Bombers alive here. Love it though. Sockers to nobody but Sam Fisher. Mill working his way up to the wing. He has Peckett in space. Does he go or does he wait? He waits.
Just tiring a little bit now, the Bombers. Just their ability to hang on to their opponent.
They cannot afford to concede a goal. It's hard to see them pulling two back. Revolt's there, Goddard's there. All the Bombers flew. They were exposed for a moment. They get a ball up.
Well, all the Bombers flew there, and just a cardinal error for defenders when they leave the ground to spoil. You must hit the ball to the front. To let the ball go over the back where there was two St Kilda blokes free, very dangerous.
So a chance here for the Saints. Hill puts his head down. Peveril tries to kick it clear. He's got it again. Umpire calls for it.
We've had 6 goals in the last quarter, apropos that list of quarter times a moment ago. So, again, this one should go up around 29 minutes, you'd expect.
Inside the final 5 minutes of game time, Fiora somehow gets a kick clear. Jason Johnson fists it wide. Peveril got a lot of the footy this afternoon, Damien Peveril. Can he find a target? Lucas, yes, at half-back. Now running on his stand, and has been outstanding this afternoon. Oh, he did all the hard work. Can't pick it up now. Needs support, hasn't got it. And again outnumbering the Bombers of the Saints. Del Sandro gets the kick from ball. And waits and patiently kicks it out wide to Peckett. Just noticing St Kilda to every contest, getting superior numbers to it.
And that's probably the lack of ability or capabilities of Essendon to get to the contest. They're just leg weary. Everything they've thrown into this game has meant they're just starting to tire. And Stanton didn't take that ball cleanly, which was so important. He was outnumbered 2-1, had to take possession and had to hold it up because he had no one forward of him.
So Sam Fisher now between half-back and wing. Kicks to the lead there of Ricks. Well done, Mark Johnson getting in there to affect the spoil. Boundary thrown, the attacking side of the wing for St Kilda.
Time and the game slipping away from the Dons, who have led almost all day. Ricks brings it down. Heffernan has it covered. Mark Johnson. Stanton blazing, hoping. Maguire has Bolton out of position and has an able lieutenant in Harvey. Hodgson. Here comes Lovett. Hodgson heard the call. Sam Fisher told him he was hot. He bangs it long but aimlessly. Hill to Nash. Here come the Dons. Can someone catch this? Can someone pick it up? McPhee running onto it. Graham carries the responsibility. Has support. Lee Fisher. Peckett. And the Saints defence saves the day. And the veteran, Frankie Peckett, gains a lot of territory for them. Up to the wing. Now to Fiora. And the Saints might hurt as they counterpunch to Gehrig. Solomon makes the spoil. But again, the Dons are going to have to get it from one end of the MCG to the other. And then they've got to kick a goal, which is the hardest part of all.
It is the hardest part. And Scotty Lucas, he's always out on his feet. He's worked that hard, but he just had to hold his feet in that last contest. He went to ground. Numbers favoured the Saints.
Hill. Well played by Jason Johnson. Gets a kick clear, but only as far as Del Santo. Now Montagna. 55 from goal. Feeds it back. Peckett. Got a couple of loose players. He kicks across the ground to Robert Harvey, who copped a heavy knock in the early part of the game from McPhee. He kicks across the ground. It's okay. Mark taken by Brett Boss. Time running out here.
Yeah, the Saints will use the ball laterally here, and they use it laterally because they don't want to kick to a spot where they're outnumbered. So what Essendon have to do if they want any chance to win the game is man up. You can see Johnson pushing out to his opponent in Peckett now.
Now Peckett decides to take them on. He runs, drives it along to the goal square. Hill getting back, should mark, can't. And what's going to happen
It was
here?
against Garrick. Garrick held Solomon under the ball and pushed him with two hands in the back.
Probably a minute and a half left, you'd think. So time enough for the Bombers, but they need to be clean. Well played by Lonergan. Dyson running forward to the play is Peverill. Dyson gets it to him. Well met by Maguire. Great stuff that. Tough, strong boundary throwing on the wing.
And he's a big body, Maguire. That would have hurt. Just desperate times now for Bombers. They've just got to get the ball forward. It will be one of their great wins if they can snatch this one. They've been good all day.
Just the Saints side of the wing. Jason Johnson has hit 40 disposals. Love it in the midst of it. They need magic. Brett Voss. Reynolds arrives. Voss does well. McWalter. Peckett again.
Well done, Brett Voss.
And again, territory is the order of the day. Milne with the field against him. He beats them. Saints gone. The Saints have won. It's heartbreak for the Bombers, who have led almost all day. But they have lost 14 on the trot. Games by 1, by 2, and now by 3 points this year. The Dons still on the bottom, the Saints pressing for top 4.
What a cracking game. I mean, Essendon should be very proud. They'll be gutted that they got into this position to let the game go late. Full credit to St Kilda. They won't be happy with the way they went about the game, but they found a way to win. Their stars stood up and kicked goals. Ball was very good late in the game, but Garrick, Grewalt, Milne found a way to kick goals in the